All right, we're back, and holy fuck, Resident Evil Requiem.
Ah, yes. You are uber excited about this, aren't you?
I just about shit myself because when I was watching this and they showed the voice actress for Lamy Dimitrescu come up, and then they're like, "Oh, at a later time we'll show more." I'm like, "You fucking cock tease! I want this now." So I have the
Who knew that it would be like just a little bit later, literally.
right. So I have the video pulled up, and I'm going to stop it at a lot of places because, yeah, and I have the volume turned off altogether because I don't want to get hit by copyright. But you can watch it on IGN, which is
Yeah.
great. So the biggest thing for
Yeah.
me that came out of this was her, how she is a brand new character, but also the daughter of Alyssa from Resident Evil Outbreak, which
Mhm.
I thought was just a kind of, I don't know, side game that really didn't have much. Like, it gave a little bit more lore into some of the stuff, but I thought it was just like a straight up side game that really wasn't going to go as far. But seeing that that is Alyssa's daughter, that makes it canon, which is kind of crazy.
Mhm.
And I am very curious about what roles she will be playing in this. And yeah,
Well, I have no idea since I have not played that one and I have never watched you play it, so that whole story is completely alien to me.
I had never beat Outbreak because that game was incredibly hard for me to finish. Um,
Oh.
I do have memories of this game. When I was little, me and my brother, that's how we bonded, was playing like Mortal Kombat and watching him play Resident Evil. And he had every single one of the Resident Evils. And the biggest thing that I remember from the Outbreak series is there was a you go into the police station like in the lab area. I think he was actually in the police station in that game, but I know a lot of it was in the lab area. There was also a zoo in the game, which was the fucking most stressful thing I remember about that. I think it was a few years ago that I picked Outbreak up. I think it was Outbreak File 1 or 2. I can't remember which, but I remember being in the zoo, which only made an appearance in that game. Nothing like it never saw light of day in any other game, which is kind of sad because if you think about it, being in a zoo infested with zombie animals, that's fucking terrifying. But
Nah.
I remember one of the bosses was a zombie elephant, and there was also a lion. I think I want to say the lion was a boss, but I don't know. I'm very curious about this, how it's going to play out. If you can actually go back to some of these areas, like the zoo and all of that, I think that would be pretty cool, especially since Alyssa was in those areas and she has memories of those areas, along with like being in a hotel. And I want to say one was a hospital level and another one was like a cabin level.
Mhm.
But in the trailer, it looks like she's having flashbacks of various different things. And I don't know. I feel like this is going to be like a flashback kind of game to kind of give you a peek into some things that has happened before. I don't know.
Mhm.
Oh wait, that looked very much like Alyssa. I did not realize that, but I think that is Alyssa. That is. I didn't notice that during the trailer, but I thought that that was her, but it's not her.
I
She's
mean, mother
having,
daughter, they make sense.
yeah, but Alyssa always wore red in the game, and that's definitely her. So I'm wondering if we're going to get like a little story arc about what happened to her. And I think another thing that happened, I don't remember much because I think he said that she died in a hotel. I don't remember ever being in the hotel when I played it, so I don't know exactly what happened or what the bad guy of the hotel was. If there even was a hotel, I could just be misremembering every fucking thing. But I have a feeling that it's kind of a flashback to how she died, and you might get to play as that part a little bit. I know, like the forest area, like with the cabin and everything, there was a maniac going around, and he was like infected with the virus and whatnot. But this right here, this scene makes me think that she's strapped to some kind of machine, and they're forcing her to go through these memories of the past.
Well, why is it making a machine? Because it just looks like she's just strapped to like a bed of sorts.
Does in like I want to say that Evil Within kind of did something like going into a machine to see things like from the past
Hmm.
or just like kind of relive it. And I kind of think since Evil Within was, I don't think it was Capcom, but I think the guy that made the OG Resident Evil had a part in making that game. I, again, could be just misremembering things, but I fully think that that's what's going on, that she's quote unquote the chosen one because dude is getting ready to say something about that in a minute, but it
Okay, Liu
makes
Kang.
me right. But just like seeing these areas, like that makes me think of the Spencer Mansion or Arkley Mansion, Spencer Mansion, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, just like walking through the city like that kind of makes me think. I don't know who this dude is. I'm assuming a new character, new bad guy, because everyone that I thought it could be like Spencer or even Wesker, somebody like that, they're all dead. So I don't know who this dude is,
Hmm.
but he seems creepy.
I like creepy.
So this is the other big part is the giant fucking nuke that hit. And maybe it did happen in the game. I can't remember for certain. I have to go back and replay them, but from what I remember is like the OG Resident Evil, once you got out of the mansion that the mansion or the police station just blew up. Like I didn't think it was like a fucking nuke being dropped on the place. But from the looks of it, since they're like kind of panning through the city the way it is, kind of
Mm-hmm.
makes me think that it might be an open world kind of game to an extent. Because I remember it's been maybe a year ago that a lot of people were speculating that this is going to be an open world type of game and some other things.
Right,
But
because Resident Evil games have been known to be linear, right?
mhm. Yeah, this is always
Even
like
like I was just gonna say, even like the parts of the game, like any of the games that had you be out in the streets or outside in general, it was still very like linear, like pathways
yeah,
were cut off and whatnot.
yeah. This is very much always like that. So that's kind of what makes me think that this is what's going to be it. Something else that kind of gives me more of the like past kind of events that's going on is I feel like this whole thing is current time and all of it has been destroyed. And then when you like see later on in the trailer that some of the stuff like this is like, you know, not broken or anything, that it is a look into the past with her
Hmm.
and that creepy ass thing. I want to go out on a limb and speculate who I think this is. Just judging on how it looks in certain ways. Because this area looks like it's from the Spencer Mansion, and I think what the giveaway for that for me is just how it kind of looks like a house more than anything, because the police station was a museum at one point, and it was very museum like, I guess, for lack of a better word. And this looks very much like somebody's house compared to the mansion or the police station. So I'm thinking that this is kind of taking bits and pieces and being memories of what happened. And I think that that thing, whatever it is crawling, I think that that is Lisa Trevor. She was, yeah,
Oh.
she was, I guess, like a stalker character in the first Resident Evil, kind of like how you had Mr. X, like constantly chasing you through part two, and then you had Nemesis chasing you through part three.
Hmm.
Lisa was only introduced in the remake of Resident Evil 1 back in the day. And she was just like a very creepy person that would just like follow you. She had like shackles and chains and, very grotesque looking and, whatnot. So that's making me think that this is Lisa Trevor just because I'm sure you can see my mouse. But look at her
Hmm.
hand right there and right there. It looks like she has a shackle on her wrist.
Yeah.
The only thing that's throwing me off about that theory is she's crawling down, which Lisa never did because the shackles that she had was more like a, I don't know how you want to describe it, like a board handcuffs, like a plank or something. I don't know what those are called, but like not traditional handcuffs. But
Right.
I think very much so that that's Lisa Trevor. As far as the main bad guy, like still trying to get like more of a look on her. It, whatever it is. I could see side boob, so you,
Uh,
it looks like
Got
a
a
little
little bump
boob.
right there, your little A
Yeah,
cup.
yeah, little Miss Mosquito Bite titties. Going to come and get you. But yeah, that's making me think very much of her. Uh, thinking that that's it. Now that dude, I have no idea, and I want to say that it is somebody from the series, a main character that turned evil somehow or some way. Because they did this before in Resident Evil 5. They had a mysterious, quote unquote, mysterious character running around, cloaked, kind of like this guy is. And the big reveal that was, it was Jill Valentine that got corrupted by a Wesker and had a thing on her titty that you had to rip off and then like shoot a bunch of times. And did she like donkey kicked you across the fucking house that he was in? Yeah, good times with that. But
Oh.
I'm wondering if they're kind of recycling that whole thing, and that is somebody from a previous Resident Evil game. I'm wanting to say, if I had to guess, not seeing the whole picture of the person,
Hmm.
I want to bet that that is Jake, Wesker's son. I don't know why I think it's him, but I could kind of see it being him, even though he was like still just in the one game and, as far as I know, never ever talked about again. But
Mm.
that's what I think, because he's obviously infected. You can see it in his face that he's like fucked up.
Hmm.
It's very different from how Jill was. Jill was basically just mind controlled and had that device on her titty that you had to rip off, which was still a pain in the ass. I'll never forget that because it was like the most complicated part of that fucking game for me. But
Oh.
this guy, like while being infected, still looks like he is very much in control of himself, since he's using a bag to basically smother the shit out of whoever the hell that is. So I think it might be something like that. Now that dude being in the police uniform is also making me think that it is going to take place in the Police station. Or it could just be totally wrong and that's just some random dude that got fucked up.
Mhm.
But even this right here, looking at that, looks like it is the police station kind of fixed up. And then there's that Sleeping Beauty right there.
Yeah, but she gives great head. Anyway.
You nasty.
That's me.
So all in all, I my theory with this whole thing is it is the end of Resident Evil. Like this is going to be the end all chapter of Resident Evil. You're probably going to see all the main characters die in some way, shape, or form, or just I don't know.
I hope so.
Mm. If it is, I think that this is a good place to end everything. That you kind of go into the past and see what happened, or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
They kill off the main characters and just end the story here. I think that's fine because I don't think that they really can continue the story arc of Resident Evil anymore. Like everything is just getting out of hand with the werewolves and the weird fish thing and the big titty vampire chick and her cunt little daughters.
You
I,
loved her.
I did. I was still that game surprised the absolute shit out of me just because they showed her the most of anybody and it kind of
Hmm.
made her seem like she was the main villain and
Hmm.
she was the first boss, which was bizarre to me. But I don't know. It said in August we will get more information and also a demo at whatever game thing that's going to be at. So hopefully it'll lighten more about what's going to happen. Now, I don't think that this is going to be the absolute end all to Resident Evil. I think that this is just going to close the story arc. I think that they are still going to make remakes of the game, kind of like how they did 1 through 3.
Hmm.
Because I think that they're going to do a Code Veronica remake at some point. They'd be really, really fucking stupid if they didn't.
Mm,
What are your thoughts?
I don't have a lot of thoughts, mainly because I don't have a lot of uh, history and experience with this franchise.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'm fully aware of what it is because, I mean, I've been around since the dawn of time and have been a gamer my entire life.
Hmm.
Um, I just never really got into the games when they were first coming out just because it just didn't click with me. Like, yes, I love horror, zombies, gore, all that fun stuff.
Hmm.
But when it came to my video games, especially as a kid, I was more into sticking with like fantasy and RPG stuff,
Right.
which I mean, that's still me today, but I branched out quite a bit since then. Um,
You're welcome.
I have dabbled a little bit in the games, but I never really stuck with them until the end, except for 5, and that was only because I got to co-op with you.
Oh god. That was such a trip.
That was fun. It was fun because it was just interesting and different, and I wasn't used to playing those type of games.
Hmm.
Granted, it wasn't like the most quote unquote horror inducing Resident Evil I experienced.
Hmm.
Um, but then after that, of course, watching you play different ones, I got to actually understand the franchise better and the characters and the different stories and whatnot. And although I enjoy the movies, up only the first two,
Yeah.
the third one's iffy, but the first two were fine with me. I liked them
Hmm.
just for the fact that they were just it was an action movie more than anything. I was just like,
Right.
oh, this is fun. I like it. And that was also because I was not experienced with the game. So, but, obviously nothing really was all that similar between the two things.
Right.
Um, but yeah, my thoughts. I'm excited to see where they go with this, and I'm actually really excited to watch you play, like I've watched you play the others. So yeah,
I will be streaming the absolute shit out of this game when it comes out.
I am 100% on board.
So with
I'll
this
be
game,
the
oh,
huh?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I will be your little commentary for amusement purposes.
I will say if I'm right about like the past and the characters dying and whatnot, I am going to cry like a little bitch because I grew up with those characters and seeing them finally rest and die is going to be tearing my heart out, but also it's like a bittersweet thing. It's like, all right, well, it's finally over, and yeah.
I hope it's violent.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. I'm just
Like I want
curious to.
Claire to get her face ripped off or something.
Oh God. I hope if they do, I hope they don't like do a cop out and be like, "Oh no, look, a nuke dropped in, and they all died in the same way." I want them
I
to
don't know.
like actually die by something like terrible, like a fucking tyrant or one of the
A
monkey
liquor.
zombie things, like eating their face off or something.
Can you imagine a monkey gets Leon?
They did
Take
have
that, pretty boy.
they did have monkeys in. I want to see it was Zero that they had monkeys in.
Did I watch you play that one? I don't remember.
No, I cannot play fucking Zero because that game is the absolute epitome of my fucking existence. Is the Bane. I hate that fucking game with a fucking passion.
Wow.
I hate it because it made absolutely zero fucking sense to me that it's called Zero for one, kind of giving that it's a prequel to one, and the main character is Rebecca, and like she's on a train fighting the zombies. And she even fights a fucking scorpion. At one point, I think she fights a giant millipede or some shit. And then when one comes out, they find her and they're like, she's terrified of everything. Like, bitch, you done fought all of this. You fought tyrants, you fought zombies, you fought monkeys, you fought everything. Why are you fucking scared now? Like, it makes no sense to me. That's why I hate that game. And also, like, there's no item boxes in that game, and you have to switch between Rebecca and Billy like throughout the game, and it's just a pain in the ass.
Mm.
So yeah, I've played that game. I beat it once, and I cried after I beat it because it was such a pain in the dick to play. And I vowed after I beat it the one time I will never ever fucking play it again because I hate it.
Well then.
Yeah, they're
Not
the
even for me.
no.
Not even for your many, many, many followers and fans and yeah.
Yeah, true. If I somehow or another got like 500 subscribers, I would play it. I would stream it somehow because I think I did try to play it recently and I was going to stream it for you, but it wasn't working for whatever reason. So
Hmm.
I don't know. But that would be the only way I did if I got 500 subscribers and I would play it. But I don't ever foresee that happening, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm off the hook.
Lucky you.
But yeah, um, one of the things I'm kind of curious about this game is if it's going to have any like additional things to it, like how Resident Evil 4 had the whole mercenaries mode and like the separate ways DLC. I wonder if this is going
Hmm.
to have anything like that. So
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I'm just excited to see what else happens with it, and I will be pre-ordering the super best fuck me daddy edition that they have.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've missed out on so much. Like when 7 came out, they had a
Hmm.
replica of the house if you pre-ordered it, and it came with a candle. I think it was supposed to smell like blood or something like that. It was supposed
Ew.
to have like a weird smell to it, but the house was a music box, and I thought that was the coolest shit ever, but I didn't get it. And then
Because you were poor.
the fucking truth. And I can't remember what came with 8 or if 8 even did anything like that. So,
I don't
hmm.
know.
All I know is if this one has a pre-order to where you can get something cool and fancy, I'm going to try to get it. Maybe it'll come with a replica of the nuke that hit Raccoon City.
That'd be hot.
Yeah. Also, like this is completely random, but me and my friend, when we was playing the 4 remake, we thought it'd be funny as hell if they had battle damage in the game to like if you're like if you got burnt, like some of your face was burnt off and stuff. So we was playing as Ada, and there's like a giant explosion. He was like, I wonder how funny it would be if like half her face was missing, like showing her skull and her hair was burnt off. But we shall see how this goes. One thing that I hope that they don't put back into this game, and it's since they're going off of like an outbreak kind of thing. Outbreak had a virus meter. Like every time you got bit, the meter would build up, and you can heal yourself and stop the virus a little bit. But once it got to 100%, you turn into a zombie.
Oh.
It, it was hard. That's what made Outbreak hard. And it was funny because it was a team game. Like you had your character and you had like I think 3 other people following you around. And if they got bit, like, and you didn't really pay attention to them, or like if you took too long in the stage, they would just straight up turn into a fucking zombie and just like stalk you. I'm hoping that this one don't have that.
I hope so, so you can suffer.
Oh god. So I think that was about it. I just thought I would share my thoughts and feelings and speculations about the game and see if I'm right in the future.
I hope you're right. Everyone dies, it ends, and we can move on. And
Yeah,
Capcom can move on and make other game. Well, they make other games, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like they can
right.
focus more heavily into other things, other projects and such, and maybe shit out some other amazing franchise.
That would be cool. One thing I do hope that comes with this game, and it's been missing for quite some time, is I hope they bring spiders back into this game.
Yes. And they need to heavily focus on the horror and the zombies, like the original. We need that shit. I'm
Yes.
fine with the mutated, insects and stuff. That would be great. But to I don't want them to kind of go where 8 was going.
Yeah,
I don't need some sort of fantasy horror creature of some sort.
right. That's one of the biggest things that kind of upset me, I guess, about Resident Evil 2 remake is because when you got into the sewer level, there was spiders every fucking where. And like I think that's really I think that adds to the horror aspect, especially for people that have arachnophobia and are forced to go through this. But instead they took the spiders out and put giant flesh monster things that make no sense, but whatever. So yeah, they cut the spiders out for that, which was very disappointing because I would love to have seen like new HD remakes of those. Like that would have been the tits.
I agree. The tits, indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah, super tits.
totally.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Is it?
It is.